I hate solo leveling. It's mid. There, I said it. And I know that a lot of you will link me, crucify me, and scorn me for saying the truth, but guess what? So did Jesus. I know. It takes a lot of courage and determination to say what is truly right, but now it feels like a clog in my throat that has been there for 2 centuries has finally been released. Now, before you go ahead and outrage, I don't like solo leveling just because it's popular or the current mainstream right now, or the meta and stuff. I'm not a contrarian. It might be hard to believe, but solo leveling was once my favorite manhwa, and it's one of the manhwas that introduced me to the whole genre and made me fall in love with it. Personally, it was very hard to put down the nostalgia glasses. It's like taking off the Venom suit out of you, but it just keeps gluing itself back together because, well, it's nostalgia. But all things must come to pass, and I have long since encountered and read many great manhwas, and now I can say with confidence that solo leveling, excuse me, I can now say with utter confidence that solo leveling is painfully average. But first, let's talk about how solo leveling became so successful in the first place. First thing, art. One of the strongest aspects of solo leveling is its godlike art. As one of the progenitors of the whole manhwa thing, even now its panels are still a marvel to look at. It has set a high standard for other series with its detailed, dynamic, and often cinematic quality of artwork. Particularly the action scenes, which is without a doubt a large portion of an action fantasy manhwa. It makes you feel lots of things as you immerse yourself in the intensity and drama of each battle. Even quieter moments like when he's just sitting or standing are given a significant impact through careful attention to visual detail, turning simple poses and expressions into powerful statements about the character and the narrative. I mean, be for real. Don't tell me that you don't feel extremely hyped up whenever you see Song Jinwoo standing with his summons like Igris or Beru. The translation quality of solo leveling is another significant factor contributing to its popularity and how it became legendary. Initially translated by scanlators, this manhwa benefited from a unique approach to translation that official translators often lack. Scanlators, who usually work as unpaid volunteers, are a group of people that translate manga and manhwa out of sheer passion for the medium. And this dedication often translates into a deeper understanding of the source material and its audience. They exactly knew what made people excited, what causes goosebumps, and what hyped people up. And thus, the legend of
Arise
was born. An iconic line that became practically synonymous with the series and a line that will be quoted for years to come. Finally, self-insert. Don't lie, I didn't. We all did. Of course I would see myself in him. He's a fucking badass and I want to be like him. At the outset, Song Jinwoo is depicted as an ordinary person facing everyday struggles, which makes him highly relatable. He lives in a world where becoming a hunter is sometimes the only viable means to escape financial hardship. Yet he is notably weak despite his efforts. This struggle to overcome adversity mirrors the experiences of many people like us who face their own challenges and obstacles. His initial vulnerabilities and relatability create a very strong connection with the audience. We see him train and work hard and after a rather fortuitous encounter, and we see him transform into this very badass looking guy / hunter. That transformation of Song Jinwoo from a weak hunter to an overwhelmingly powerful one fulfills a common fantasy among readers. This rags to riches narrative, where hard work and a bit of luck leads to extraordinary success, is immensely satisfying. It taps into the universal desire to overcome limitations and achieve greatness. As Song Jinwoo grows stronger, readers feel a sense of empowerment and triumph alongside him. But Nix, I thought you hated solo leveling. Where's the hate? You're just glazing Song Jinwoo at this point. Now, I have patience. I'm actually about to get into that. Despite the strengths of solo leveling, its stunning art, memorable translations, and relatable protagonists, the series suffers from significant narrative and character flaws. These issues undermine its potential and it just makes the whole thing incredibly mediocre at its core. I am a big fan of good characters when I'm reading or watching a certain type of media. Saying that Song Jinwoo's presence in the manhwa is big is very much an understatement. The overwhelming focus on Song Jinwoo is both a strength and a glaring weakness. While his journey from weakness to overwhelming power is compelling, it comes at the expense of other characters and the broader narrative. Song Jinwoo's presence is so dominating that it overshadows every other element of the story. His constant outshining of everyone else makes the narrative feel one-dimensional and predictable. The side characters often serve as nothing more than a prop to highlight Song Jinwoo's abilities and achievements. They are literally ornaments to his epic. Character development is a crucial aspect of storytelling that adds depth and excitement for majority of the story. The focus remains almost exclusively on Song Jin-woo's transformation, leaving little room for others to grow or change, and this affects the story negatively. While this one-man show can be engaging in the short term, it becomes a significant detriment over the course of the series. The missing substantial challenges from other characters or entities means that tension and stakes feel artificially low. After all, what's the point? He would always win anyways. It's just a matter of how stylish he does it, am I right? Wrong! The narrative becomes monotonous and stale. It's one of those manhwas that endlessly power skill as the main character defeats this one big guy, and then a bigger guy shows up and goes on and on and on and on. And I've read the novel too. At some point, it feels like the author has driven himself into a dead end, and the whole ending of both the manhwa and the novel just feels so rushed to me. Something along those lines. The world is not breathing. I believe that growth, conflict, and development is necessary when it comes to media like this. However, we only see these aspects in the perspective of the main character, Song Jin-woo, and not of the others. Of course, an argument could be had that, well, no shit, he's the MC, which is a massive fallacy. You can have a protagonist with a strong presence and at the same time still have a memorable ensemble of other major and minor characters. This limited exploration of the themes that could have been further expanded and enhanced feels extremely shallow. The whole show is full of shimmer, yet there was no glow to be found. Well, regardless of my opinion, it is true that Solo Leveling was one of the many pioneers that brought manhwa into the dawn of light. It was a trailblazer that brought attention to the medium and set a precedent for future works. However, as the genre has evolved and matured, its limitations have become more apparent, rendering it relatively generic by today's standards.